this year's 2022 Legacy Award, and I am very, very proud to pass this along to my very dear friend, Joseph Kelleher.
Well, for someone that's usually not short of words, I don't have a lot to say. But what I have to say has a lot of meaning to it. I came to this section of the Bronx about 20 years ago after receiving a phone call from Joe Simone, who told me he wanted to build something that didn't exist here in the Bronx. I was in Madison Avenue and Park Avenue, big skyscrapers. And Joe says, how about Morris Park Avenue? You know? And of course, I was very interested because I love Joe and his vision. And it was probably one of the best moves that I ever made to come to this area in New York City and do something that didn't exist. And today, I'm so proud of what we've created here at the Hutch Metro Center and what we will be continuing to do. You know, we are earmarking right now on a state-of-the-art biotech office park, which will be right there, hopefully in concert with Einstein and Montefiore and others for research. As you know, the pandemic has changed so much in our world. We need more and more research. We need to invest more and more in our health so we don't get caught off guard. And I think people like Joe and his family are committed to make sure we advance all aspects of healthcare and especially in research development, create those jobs. We're about creating jobs, bringing high-paying jobs to this area. So the people who live here, who work here currently can find high-paying jobs. Also be the people of the future, to be innovators of the future. We are going to do this. We are on our way to do it right now. It's a lot to do. There is a lot of infrastructure work being done right now. We're working with the governor's office to try to bring in additional roads from the Hutchinson River Parkway into all aspects of the development in this area so we have access. You know, as you all know, the new train stations, I've been working with a borough president as the chairman of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce for over 10, almost 15 years now, to get the infrastructure so that we can get the new train stations and also expand the highways to have easy access off and on these highways so we're not driving through people's neighborhoods, right? So a lot of this is happening right now. It's very exciting. And we're committed to doing it. The new train stations, as you probably heard many times, has been a labor of love for almost 12 years now. They are coming. In another probably less than 24 months, we should have service running from Morris Park, Hunts Point, Co-op City, a 21-minute ride to Penn Station, which will be opening up a tremendous amount of opportunity for development, for research and development, and to continue to expand all the services we're doing at the Hutchinson Metro Center and creating these jobs for the people here in the Bronx. So, you know, these are very exciting times. We're very focused on that right now. And, you know, we're very grateful that we have the opportunity to do that. In terms of going back, I've been here 20 years now. I can't believe it, John, you know. And when I first came here, I didn't know anyone. Lenny Carroll was in the audience, took me to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and he says, they want to make you the chairman. I said, I don't know anyone. You want me to be chairman or something? I don't know anyone. He said, you'll get to know them. So over time, I was nominated, and I was placed as a chairperson when Elias Carmen, who was our founding member, passed away. And it has been one hell of a ride. my board members who are here today know what I'm talking about, especially John. We went through some changes to the organization, but all good. And one of the key ones was, as it pertains to Westchester Square, Lisa Soren was the first president that I served under as in the Chamber of Commerce. And she assumed that role when I first came on board. I was on the board, I was the treasurer. And so as time went on, the Westchester Square BID was being formed. We were looking for someone to take over the BID to run this. This is a job. Let's give a big round of applause for Jasmine. She's doing a fantastic job, guys. Fantastic. And in the beginning, we were trying to find someone who's going to be the first, you know. And after extensive interviews, I said, we got to bring Lisa in. We interviewed her, and John and I looked at each other, and we were like we floored with the rest of the board, and we hired her. Best move we ever made at the time. Eventually, when the Chamber of Commerce was going through its changes in a positive way, I needed another president. I came to the board and I says, guys, I got to call this woman back home to the Chamber of Commerce. And we talked about it, and it was unanimous she wanted to do it. So Lisa today continues to be the first woman to lead the Chamber of Commerce right here in the Bronx, and has taken the organization to new heights with so many prospects of where we're going. It's unbelievable what's happening in the city of New York right now, everywhere. And the Bronx really has its finger on the pulse of what businesses need, the people who live here need, and we want to continue to support all those efforts for the sake of developing the Bronx, which in my opinion is one of the greatest boroughs to do business in the city of New York, right here in the Bronx. So we're poised for the future. We have these new train stations coming. We have office buildings that are going to be built, more jobs being created. It's very, very exciting. And all of Bronx will benefit from all of that. All of it will all rise together. The merchants, which I got a real education about from John Benizio when I came. I didn't really understand the pulse of the merchant, but becoming the co-chair of this BID, I learned so much from John Benizio. He was tenacious, never said no, never backed down, always believed, whatever he believed in, he chased and made it happen in this community, spoke out and got it done. And for that, John, I give you my utmost respect as a leader to be able to do that, because it's not easy. People don't want to hear no, and they don't want to hear indifference. You've never been shy about speaking up for what you believe in. And as a result, we have become a better organization for it. I know on behalf of the entire board and our membership, we appreciate your leadership for what you've done and where you have brought us to, and more importantly, where we're going. I was on the phone with Steve Squitieri this morning, who you know is one of our local guys, and he's implementing, he has the shuttle service now by the Whitestone Bridge. He's just taking people from the drop-off, bringing them to the ferry. So I said to Steve, can we extend that? I'd like to see that ferry take people to the square from that ferry. I want to see people going to the Hutch Metro Center from that ferry. I want them to come to the Throgsneck Shopping Center. I want them to go down Throgsneck. Because Bobby's coming to me every day. When are we getting the shuttle coming down Throgsneck? We have to do all this. We're going to do all this. It's baby steps, right? But we're doing it one step at a time, having meetings. So I see a lot of opportunity for economic development, but the square has been a driving force for many years on your leadership, John, to get us where we're going. You know, when we first met, I have a show on BronxNet, which I'm going to start up again. It's called Bronx Now, Joe Kelleher. And you did one of the first episodes, and you schooled us on Westchester Square. I sat there, I was blown away. I didn't have no idea the history here. You know, I was, some of you know I do acting as well. I was in 1776, the musical, up in Westchester. And I played a congressman from New York. And at that time, they were talking about Westchester Square, and I realized everything happened here. And you had pointed that out to me. When Washington was fighting the English here, right? they were going back with the dispatchers trying to figure this out. But it all happened here at the square. And they were running it back and forth to Philly, and all of this became our Constitution. So there's such significance. That's probably why our building, where have you been to the luxurious Marriott Hotel? All right, 1776 East Chester Road, that particular year, was the year, right, that 1776 was when the bill was passed. And we reside right there. We're on historic ground. Benedetto pointed that out to me. You know, so a lot has happened in the Bronx that has changed the course of our country because we have values here. And if we pay attention to them and we stand by them, we will build upon them. And I really feel strongly about that. And it's people like you, John, and the board that's here that puts their heart and soul into something that's bigger than themselves. It's not about us. It's what are we going to do to leave this country, the Bronx and everything in better hands, right? So that it can continue to grow and blossom so our citizens can enjoy good lives, raise good families, have good jobs, and live, you know, life, you know, you know, as one. You know, my daughter and I are musicians. Many of you have probably seen us on these concerts. We went to see Paul McCartney. They actually carried me into the concert. I couldn't walk in. I had surgery recently. And it was such an uplifting thing. So we want to change, continue to develop music, cultural. You cannot have economic development without embracing the culture. I learned that from the Bronx Council for the Arts, Bill Aguiraro, when I first met him. He touched me. And from that point forward, we have these concerts every summer at the Hutch Medical Center. We try to do 2 or 3 in the summertime, and we do them in the winter. They're free to the community, but we want the people who live and work here to know that this area is rich in culture, and they should embrace it and be aware of it, because that's what life is all about. It's not just about making money. It's about what's our real purpose in life. Why are we here? I believe we're here to change a life. I was the chairman of the Boy Scouts of America for 8 years here in this borough. By fault. He needs someone. Joe, will you do it? Hey, okay. Because I love Boy Scouts, you know, trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Those are good words to grow up to, and our youth need to hear that, right? So they have something to live up to. It certainly helped me. So, again, I see the future is bright for us. I think we all believe in each other. We all want the same things. And the Bronx, you know, through the pandemic, and you guys know all the Zoom meetings we had with the chamber, how committed every individual is to each other, to help each other, to get through a crisis like this. This was not an easy one. Trust me, I was here every day in my office. And so are all of you. And as a result, we've come through the other side, bigger, better, and stronger. So I think the future is extremely bright for us. I know over the next 10 years, the things I just mentioned, life science parks and all of this is going to be a reality. It seems that the government, or at least the hierarchy, is committed to funding things that are important to make all these things happen. And Simone Development has committed to always be on the cutting edge and totally involved in anything that has to do with economic development in this borough. It's not about us becoming rich. We're rich. We're rich in heart. What we want to do is develop something so that everybody, all boats rise, because that's what this is all about, together. So I want to thank you, John, for inviting me under the tent and teaching me the things I didn't know about the history of this wonderful area of Westchester Square. I'm so proud to be affiliated with it, and I look forward to many years to come as we continue to strive for this economic development, create jobs for the people who live here, work here, play here, and just constantly keep our eye on the prize. That's what's important. And I will say that, you know, we said God can move mountains, but we got to bring the shovel. Thank you.